Ramble.
All right, so
I feel like this isn't gonna be too long for Ramble. I don't know.
No, probably not. I got a few to just hit us with, like other stuff I watched. I think you might have a couple for us.
Yeah, I have just a couple.
So for going the what have you been watching, because that's what this whole entire day is, the whole thing. Let's start with, I think we don't want to end on the dishonorable mentions. I think we should start with the stuff maybe we shouldn't watch, and then go to some honorable mentions to end on a slightly higher note. So I'll hit you with one. I'll hit you with two that I've already talked about previously on the bad side.
Okay.
So maybe you don't watch High School Prodigies Have It Easy Even in Another World.
Okay.
A show which is a straight up isekai where a bunch of kids who are impossibly perfect.
There is so much isekai this season.
There's a lot of isekai this season. So this one, like, I've already mentioned it previously, so I won't talk about it too much, but basically you got a bunch of kids who are just too good, too cool for any school. This one's like so smart that he's a billionaire flying on his private freaking helicopter to land in Dubai. This one is like so smart that somehow he has been elected the freaking prime minister of Japan or something. I don't even know. And this one, she's so brilliant with mechanics and whatnot. The first thing you see is her on her own private space station building shit. It's like, okay, these kids are impossibly smart. Got it. And then they all get on a plane and it crashes in another world and they get isekai'd. And let's just hit you with the gross stuff. This dude is too weak to eat. And this weird elf lady straight up baby birds him some food. Gross. And I've only watched the first episode, but from what I've read, they keep trying to push mayonnaise. That's not a one-time thing wherein this kid like, oh man,
I forgot about the mayonnaise.
All these animal kids are like, we hate boiled potatoes, and the lady's like, oh, you're gonna love this, check it out. And the smart kid, the politician kid, he's like, yes, try some of this, puts the sauce on the potato, they eat the potato, wow, this is amazing, I love it. And he's like, yes, this condiment which has taken over our world, mayonnaise. Apparently mayonnaise is the big deal, and apparently that's not the only time. From what I've read, and I don't think I'm going to watch more to confirm, but it keeps coming back. They really want you to believe that mayonnaise is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I can't.
I told you about the girl at work who suggested that we substitute butter for our grilled cheeses with mayonnaise.
Yeah, girl. I heard a thing, I think it was on another podcast, they were talking about these places that put mayonnaise in the guacamole. No! You get out!
Yeah, don't do that.
Honestly, we could probably just lose mayonnaise. The only thing I can eat mayonnaise on is the Jimmy John's sandwich. Elote and a Jimmy John's, the Italian sub.
Yeah, it is good on their sandwiches.
Yeah.
Actually, I can have mayonnaise on like a hamburger.
I can do mayonnaise on that, even then, but it's like got to be with other stuff.
Yeah,
I can't do I can't do like a burger with just mayonnaise. That's gross.
Yeah,
throw me some mustard on there.
Or people that do a hot dog with mayonnaise.
I don't get that at all. And I was at a friend's house and they were making hot dogs and everybody was grabbing a bun, wiping mayonnaise on it, and then putting the weenie on. And I was like, what is wrong with y'all?
And it's all just so like it's white but yellow but also kind of jiggly. You know, I didn't like mayonnaise for years.
You know, mayonnaise is alive. It has an IQ of 1.
To be totally honest, I did not like mayonnaise until I was an adult.
God,
I still don't like Miracle Whip.
I still don't love mayonnaise.
I ain't ever gonna like that shit.
I can deal with mayonnaise, just like not that much. This has turned into the mayonnaise show, and I'm tired of it. One more that I did talk about previously, last episode, in fact. Africa Salary Man, basically trash.
Yeah.
You can pretty much skip that one. It's not very good. It mostly is just a weird collection of these anthropomorphic animals in an office setting, making some really crude jokes. There's a couple bits in that first episode where like they make some really weird stands about like this guy is being accosted by girls on a train and he's like, well, like it goes into this weird victim blamey thing where like they're like pretending that he was groping them or whatever, and he's like, well, I wasn't, but if I was, look at how you're dressed. And it's like, dude. So it's like really fucked. The whole thing is just gross and not cool, and the animation like flip-flops between some okay 2D to some really bad 2D to some horrible CG. It's just a bad time. I wasn't into it. Again, might be something that maybe if you're into the crude humor and maybe you like to spark up a doober, maybe you'll be into it. I'm not shitting on anybody who smokes weed. I'm just saying, like, that's what it struck me as, is like you would have to be pretty high to be into this. The way it constantly switches the art styles. It borders on psychedelic, but it's not even good psychedelic.
It sounds like something I absolutely would not like. So
I would say skip it. I would say skip it. You got anything for us in the bad side?
For sure. I talked about it last week, but the wrestler isekai
is not good.
It's just a real shame.
It did not doing it for you.
It's just a real shame.
Yeah. I read a little bit more about that. I read a little bit more about that from one review site where they were talking about it. How, like you mentioned, he goes for the belly scratchies on a wolf guy who's an anthropomorphic wolf guy.
Yeah.
Who's like an actual man, wolf man, and it is played off as like he basically assaulted this guy. Kinda.
Yeah.
Like it was a non-consensual thing. And then I was reading some and they're like, and that kind of becomes a recurring thing where like every time this wolf guy sees him, he's like, oh God, it's him. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
It's not, that sounds very not cool.
It should be perfect.
It should be a good show because it involves wrestling and animals and you love both of those things. Yep. And I love both of those things. And I mean, a bunch of people love both of those things.
They could even smut it up big time and I would still love it. But like, this is like creepy levels, like we're all right. I feel gross.
Kind of gross.
Yeah, I feel like you just molested this person.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be funny. You want me to think it's funny.
Yeah, I'm not gonna laugh.
Now
at
you know how I feel every time there's all these titties jiggling in my face. I'm like, I'm supposed to be turned on by this. I feel like you want me to be into this, but I kind of hate it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know that you necessarily need to be turned on by the jiggling titties, but
not necessarily.
To each their own.
Like it's just. Every time I'm watching a show and some dude falls into some girl's titties, it's like, I'm supposed to think this is funny.
Look, I don't mind some big
I know you don't. I know you don't. I'm just saying we have different sensibilities and we have found our limits. Each of us have found our lines.
I'm not going to say that like I get terribly turned on by it or anything. Like some people might. Oh yeah, you're making a little like...
You saying it don't make your pee-pee hard?
I mean, I'm not going to say that never happened before. Young, dumb, and full of gum at the age of 30.
You're the worst. You're a bad boy. You're a bad boy. Not all that young. Still pretty dumb now.
Do you want to know how much gum I got?
No, I don't.
I have no gum on me.
Jesus, I got one more.
You got in that birthday gum?
I do not. Mm-hmm. You're the worst. Whose gum is this now? I got one more. You're evil. I got one more here that I'm gonna put in the bad side. Less because it is a purely bad show and more because it feels dishonest. Because the name of the show is Stand My Heroes, Piece of Truth. And here's the description on the Funimation app where you can stream this if you are so inclined. Here we go. Let me just pull it up. Stand My Heroes, Piece of Truth. Piece as in a piece of it, not as in peace to the world.
Like a piece of pie.
Like a piece of pie. Stand My Heroes, Piece of Truth. The description, Agent Rei Izumi has joined the newly created STAND, all caps, that's the name of the organization, where she will gather the best agents to build a team of heroes to protect Tokyo. Now that sounds like maybe superheroes, sounds like some kind of agency, like a S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. It's called STAND, same number, it's like S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah. What it actually is first of all, it's a woman named Rei Izumi who is recruiting people to this special narcotics division where they're going to be like busting down on crime and whatnot. She has been selected specifically because for some reason that they don't get into detail on, maybe they will, I'm not going to find out. She basically has like an immunity to drugs. Like it's a superpower. Like someone literally, she gets like damseled in episode 1 and someone grabs her and they like put a rag to her face and she's like chloroform and she like pretends it knocks her out and then she attacks the guy because it didn't knock her out because she's immune to drugs. Chloroform.
More like borophyll.
That's not what, okay, chlorophyll's in plants. But like the real big thing here is that it sounds like it would be like a cop drama action-y thing and whatnot. It is in fact based on one of those like collect all the boys mobile games. Like where you have like a little slot machine that spits out a new boy card and ooh, this one's a double S rank or whatever. And that's what the show is. She's literally collecting handsome boys. It is like a reverse harem thing, which is not necessarily bad, but there's like no decent story here. And so far, I've watched 3 episodes. Every one of them was just, oh, I'm investigating these guys. This guy's a writer. This one's an actor. they'd be great for the narcotics team. Why? Fucking why? And then like, oh, the writer's like really angry and jaded and doesn't want to talk to me. But then we get some backstory and it turns out he's a nice guy and maybe we'll bone. It's like every episode is just that. And it's like, well, this is garbage. This is garbage is what this is.
And I mean, she's immune to the chlorophyll.
Oh, thank you for the garbage. I will put it in the trash where it goes. Thank you for the garbage. All right. And that's it for the bad ones from me. You got any more that like we gotta avoid?
No, not really.
How about some honorable mentions? You got any of those? Because I got a couple.
For sure, honorable mention. We never learn. I would honorable mention that in Heartbeat because it's more of what we saw last season. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, if you had
cute,
fun,
it's fun. It's a little smutty, but
if you liked it, you'll like it.
Yeah. Overall, it's pretty tame, I would say.
Nice.
But it's a fun show. It's a good little laugh. I feel like I do have one more honorable mention.
You want me to hit a couple while you think about it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'll do one I talked about before. After School Dice Club is a pretty interesting show that honestly I found it kind of boring. It's not bad. It just kind of is just kind of boring. I will watch a little bit more of it and see how I feel, but a couple episodes in, it's kind of boring. Basically, you've got a story about these high school girls. They make friends. It's kind of a coming of age thing a little bit, but it focuses more on these games. They're playing these tabletop and board games. These are all real games that you can really go out and buy and really play them with your friends, which is really cool. I really like that idea, the notion of it that way. And the thing is that like they kind of don't give you a lot of character development so far, so it's like, okay, you're not going all in on the story of it, and they don't give you enough of the games, I think, to really sell them, so they're not going in all in on the games. They're kind of lukewarm on both sides, and it's not bad, it's just kind of boring.
Okay,
there you go. I would also give a shout out to Ascendance of a Bookworm, which was pretty close to making my probably check it out list. It's pretty fun. It's basically an isekai, in which this woman who apparently recently got a job at a library or something, which is her dream job. She loves books. The thing is that, so usually, and most of these guys I've seen, they start you out with like, here's this person in real life, here's who they were, and then something happens and they end up in this other world. Okay, this one, you don't really get that. They basically give you the backstory, but it's all like just kind of a storybook fashion where you're seeing like not the actual character and whatnot. Gotcha. And then it drops them in and like, here's the actual story in this isekai world, this fantasy world, this whatever. So basically this person loved books. She wakes up in the body of a very young girl. I'm talking like tiny little girl, in a like ye olde style town. There's like, she's in the slums. She comes from a poor family. This girl she woke up in the body of. And there is like a larger, like there's a big castle and there's royalty and whatnot over there. But she lives here and all she wants to do is read books. That's all she cares about. And she's like, that's weird that I woke up in this weird body. I don't know what's happening, but okay, here I am. She just wants to read books. Well, family's so poor they don't even know what books are. There ain't no printing presses. They're all hand copied and whatnot. So you got to have money to get books. She can't get no books and she's bummed out. But from there, it goes into a pretty interesting story where obviously like from the little bit you get at the beginning, she's going to end up getting, further ahead, like moving up the ranks of society a little bit maybe.
Okay.
And possibly getting what she wants, possibly getting a proper education as this little girl and whatnot. It seems like it would be pretty interesting. I'm pretty into this show right now. I will say that it gets a little bit weird because there's like, I don't know if it's gonna go full on like there's a romance thing here. Okay. But there is a character she runs into who is a very young boy who's the same age as her character. However, this is a grown-ass woman in the body of this young girl. So that's kind of weird. I don't know if it's gonna become like a thing with them or whatnot because they are very young children. But if nothing else, she's made a little friend. So there you go. Okay. But they kind of give you shades of they might be an item, which is kind of weird considering, again, this is a grown woman in the body of a very young girl. So kind of weird, but overall the show's really interesting. I do like the way it like kind of shows you like the value of like particularly in a world where it is again like very old Englishy and whatnot, where everybody has to like work themselves to death to make anything of themselves in life. How it does put a value on what most people in such a situation would consider quote unquote women's work, like sewing and crafting and whatnot. It really shows the value of those things in a way that like makes them very upstanding in their respective groups and whatnot. It's pretty interesting. I'm into it.
Yeah, sounds
but
cool.
I'll check it out a little bit more and we'll see what's up. You think of your other one you had, Ben?
I didn't think of it, but I do have a couple of things. I definitely want to watch. There are some things that I still want to watch.
Okay.
I really want to watch that delinquent basketball anime.
Hiru no Sora, I believe it's called.
Yeah, I think that's right. It looks great. It looks like it's really up my alley.
You love the delinquent stuff.
I sure do, man.
You love the
kids. They go all out, dude. They're classic.
You love it when they're all up in each other's face. You love their crazy cool bar hairstyles, and you love it when they're peeping on the girls through the hole in the wall.
Yeah,
and all
man.
That shit.
Sounds like my kind of show.
It's not my kind of show, but it could be good. I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
It looks like it might be fun. Another one that I've been waiting on, and I just recently learned where to watch it. I've been waiting for it to come out on Funimation this whole time.
Tell me about it. And
it's Psychopath Season 3.
Ooh.
Which is actually tucked away on Amazon Prime.
Oh, look at that.
So all the other 2 seasons in the movie are all on Funimation.
That's
so
weird.
Of course I'm thinking it also released really late, like October 25th or something like that, 26th.
Okay.
So I waited this whole time like, damn, it's never gonna come to Funimation, and come to find out it is on Amazon Prime.
Now, as going episodic like these other shows on Amazon, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's up to 3 episodes, I think.
I've never watched any of it, so that means nothing to me, but
yeah,
sounds like it's rad.
First season is amazing.
From what you've told me, it sounds great.
The second season is somewhere in the middle. The movie's awesome, and I am still stoked about the third season.
You got high hopes for season 3.
So it's something that I intend to watch, and I very much intend to. I'm pretty sure I will enjoy it.
Nice.
But yeah, so those are a couple of kind of honorable mentions. I haven't really watched them.
Let's call them hopefuls.
I feel like I'm comfortable telling people that you probably
throwing them out there. Yeah. I got one more for an honorable mention, and this is one that honestly I did not think I would be into, but it's pretty. I'm kind of into it. It's pretty fun, and it's one that I think you would enjoy if you give it a chance. It's called Cautious Hero. The hero is overpowered but overly cautious. It's another isekai, but there's a thing we've talked about previously with isekais and other types of shows where it kind of feels like they're trying to parody the genre and they're trying to satirize it. And the big downfall of pretty much all of those, as I've discussed several times here on the show, is that you can't tell me you're satirizing a thing and then just do the thing you're satirizing. You can't tell me you're making fun of the show that has a problem with constantly giving you female characters who don't do anything and they're just there to look cool. Like, haha, we're making fun of that by doing the same thing. That doesn't really work. So this show, I feel like, is definitely closer to it. To a parody of an isekai, because the big story draw is you basically have this world of all these gods and goddesses who are there specifically. These are the people who find someone from the real world, pull them out, and they put them into this fantasy world, and they're sending them out there to be the hero. So right off the bat, you're on the other side of it, and that's an interesting concept, if nothing else. Where it gets fun is that the person who we're watching, the goddess we're sticking with, first of all, her name is Restart, haha. When she's looking through all these things, she's literally saying stuff like, she's going through the names, and it's like the same 3 names over and over again, because very often these shows are they have either similar names or there's some pretty common names in there. She's going over them and being like, I mean, it shouldn't be too tough. We'll definitely get someone from Japan, because this is already a big thing there. They know the deal, so that'll be easy. And she's like, blah, 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 doing all this stuff. She finally finds a guy, and she's been assigned this super heavy planet that's this is an S level. It's the bad boy zone. So we need someone really strong. She finds this guy. He's incredibly strong. He's stupid OP for his low level, because of course he isn't an isekai. He's about to get isekai'd. She pulls him out. He's tall. He's dark. He's handsome. He's got that brooding look underneath that dark hair, and she's honestly immediately oh damn, he's hot. She's thirsty for this boy. He of course does not take her seriously at all, despite being an actual goddess. He refuses to go anywhere until he's sufficiently trained. He immediately whips off his shirt and starts doing push-ups, and she's like, oh fuck, he's got a six-pack. Yeah, dude, it's freaking wild. So that's the whole thing, is it's right there in the title. The title, which is very redundant, Cautious Hero, the hero is overpowered but overly cautious. You really need it in there twice. Point is, the dude is stupid overly cautious. By the time they finally get to this world he's going to, he's fighting a level 0 slime, little baby monster that you could just kick and beat it by I'm not taking any chances. He's using his super move, his flame strike thing. There's a giant explosion. And then she's like, okay, you kind of overdid it there. And he's like, it might still be alive. Super flame attack. And he like just does these same 2 moves like 10 times in a row to make sure this incredibly weak slime is actually taken care of. It's kind of awesome. I don't want to talk too much more about it because I think it's worth watching. I think folks should check it out. It obviously, I mean, it's still an isekai, so it has its tropey issues and whatnot, but so far it's pretty fun. It's not like overtly offensive in any ways. It's decent. I will say that like the action is kind of lacking despite the big explosions and whatnot. Actual fights are basically like, imagine if you had like Dragon Ball where they're like talking at each other about the powering up and how cool they are, but like by the time someone finally does throw a punch, it's like boom, one and done and we're out of here. Okay. Like it's kind of like that where they spend so much time like powering up and getting in each other's faces. The one major fight we've had so far anyway. It could change obviously down the line, but yeah, it's kind of lacking on the action, but the humor of it is very fun. That's another thing is like we have this goddess character who's sticking with him and she's like trying to help him out, and she's like, oh, she's so beautiful and she's got the long blonde hair and the beautiful eyes and ooh, that dress is fairly revealing, but it doesn't like do the straight up like constant boob jiggle. No one's falling in each other's tits. If anything, it focuses more on her goofy ass faces when she's like and like her eyes are bugging out because she just saw some crazy shit.
She goes full Roshi.
She goes full Roshi every now and then. But it's also like there's that where like you'll get these scenes where like the dude whipped his shirt off and she's like, oh damn, like that, and she's like got the nosebleed. But then it does other bits where like this evil person he's about to fight just powered up into this giant demon form, and it cuts to her doing like a straight up GTO like freak out face. It's pretty funny. And again, it could be trash down the line. So far I'm into it. I think it's worth checking out. Again, that's Cautious Hero. The hero is overpowered but overly cautious.
Sounds pretty sweet, dude.
Yeah, I think you would enjoy it, man. I think it's one for you to check out.
I probably would like it.
After you watch episode 2 of freaking Babylon, because you gotta see that. But yeah, I think that's about it for us. You got anything else, big boy?
I think that's about it, dude. I think we're gonna just roll on out of here, man. I'm getting sleepy.
Yeah,
I've had a really long.
My boy needs
week.
a nap. Yeah, it's been a rough one.
This is like easily the worst, definitely the worst week of work since I started working back at the stores. But
you've been having
it could be, you know, since my entire employment there starting years ago, this could be the worst week. Like, wow, this is really bad.
It's gonna be okay, man.
Yeah.
I believe in you. You're stronger than that job.
Yep.
You're a big boy and you're big strong.
I had to discipline people this week.
Big strong.
So
boy.
I had to really
big,
fill out like how I felt about disciplining these people that were younger than me.
Yeah, man.
So it was weird.
I mean, that's the thing though. Like you are. I mean, you're like a manager basically.
Yeah.
Like you're one of the guys who runs the place.
They're kind of taking me more serious this time.
That shit sucks, dude. I mean, like I'm like a team. So basically, the manager of my department. I'm like team lead, as they call us over there. But like, I've got 2 people there who are older than me, and I gotta put them in their place every now and then. It fucking sucks sometimes.
Yep.
That's like
it's
management
something
shit.
I definitely need to get used to.
Yeah, it kind of blows, but it's a thing you got to do sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway,
I made it through.
Yeah.
I try to turn a bunch of like any negative thing I could into a positive, but also be like, hey, you might lose your job.
Yeah, dude. Well, this has been Job Talk with the boys. But yeah, let's hit the plugs and get on out of here, huh?
Yeah.
Let's get you a nap and get me a sandwich because I'm hungry.
sleepy.
Yeah, dude. All right, so if you have any opinions on what you've been hearing, please by all means let us know. Tell us if there's anything you think we should check out. If there's any shows we said maybe you should skip that maybe we shouldn't skip, or shows that we said you should check out that maybe not. But by all means, let us know about it. There's a number of ways to do that. Obviously, if you're watching this on the YouTube, you can leave us a comment right now. We'd really appreciate it. And while you're at it, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, like this, subscribe, and ring that bell so we can ding your dong. We'd really appreciate it. We'd really appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. I really appreciate it, guys. Yeah. Anyway, we'd really appreciate it. And there's a number of other ways to get in contact with us. Of course, there's the Facebook group, The Good Buddies Universe on Facebook. We have the Twitter, TGB_AnimePod. We have the old school Gmail, TheGoodBuddiesAnimePod@gmail.com. And we have the dead and zombified Tumblr, TheGoodBuddies.tumblr.com. And of course, as I always say, those things all have different names. You're going to make it. I believe in you. We also want to give a quick nod to everybody who's checking us out on the podcast portion. Anywhere you can leave us a comment and a rating, we'd really appreciate that. 5 stars, Apple Podcast. We're also on Podbean. We're on Stitcher. We're on Podcast Addict is what I use. We are not on Spotify because they're not cool enough for us, but pretty much anywhere else you can find us.
Damn right.
Yeah, dude. Pretty much anywhere else you can find a podcast. We'd really appreciate it if you checked us out, left us a comment and a rating. It'd be really great. Beyond that, we do want to give a shout out to our good buddies Married with Seamonsters, aka the Mary Janes, for the use of our opening theme song Paperdoll. They are on Spotify because they're so cool, but they are actually super cool. It sounded, I mean, I was being sarcastic, but they are amazing.
Yeah.
But that track, as well as so many other hot fire tracks, is only available on marriedwithseamonsters.bandcamp.com. Check them out, download some tracks. It's all good stuff. You're going to love it. You're going to have a good time. We also want to give a shout out to our good buddy Haas one more time for the use of our closing theme on the YouTube review portion. Again, that's Thomas Tastes Better on Instagram for our use of The Buddy's Good is what he calls it. Again, Thomas Tastes Better on Instagram. Really cool dude. And of course, a shout out to our good buddy, A Petty Theft. Yeah. Uh-huh. That is how it's pronounced. 2 P's at the beginning, 2 T's at the end. Petty Theft. For the use of our closing theme song on the podcast portion of the show, which of course we are still calling Sweet Anime Dreams. Again, that's Petty Theft on Twitter and on SoundCloud. Petty Theft. And you should be hearing that music right now because we're about to get on out of here. Roger, you got one to take us out with?
If you don't have one, I can come up with one.
Oh boy, you want to take a second? Because
You got one?
No.
Okay, I got one.
Okay. You know, it's becoming harder and harder to close the show.
Yep.
But, oh God, I feel like you're about to absolutely shatter my entire life. Oh God, he's getting so close to the microphone, I'm terrified. So from all of us here at the Good Buddies universe, I am your good buddy Brandon.
And I am your good buddy Roger. Mayonnaise.
Oh God.
Mayonnaise potatoes.
No.
Mayonnaise sandwiches.
Why do you hate me?
Mayonnaise pizza. Mayonnaise ice cream.
It's too much.
Mayonnaise hot dogs.
You know, I put hot sauce on everything. That's my go-to.
Do you put mayonnaise in your pudding?
Gross.
Mayonnaise.
Really gross.